So a few weeks ago was the men's MidAm, which is a USGA championship. And a lot of the participants were former professional golfers. Colt Knost, who you might know from CBS, he has a podcast, and he also played professional golf for a really long time, made hundreds of starts, millions of dollars on the PGA Tour. And he said maybe he would try to get his amateur status back and compete in the MidAm. The winner of the MidAm traditionally gets an invitation to the Masters. And he, as an amateur, won the USAM and the US Public Links and declined his Masters invitation at the time in favor of beginning his professional career, which he says was the best decision because he ended up winning on the Korn Ferry Tour, getting his status on the PGA Tour, and the rest is history. But he never made it to the Masters. For him at this point, playing in something like the MidAm would probably be his only opportunity to get into the Masters. So as you can imagine, this started a massive uproar online if Colt were to try and play in the MidAm. Of course, it would take him probably years at this point to get his amateur status back because it's correlated with how much money you made as a professional. So this is like when we had Hallie on and she wanted to get her amateur status back because she wanted to try to qualify for the MidAm. And they were like, oh, you can have your amateur status back right away because she never made $1.
She made like $12.
Golfer. Yeah. But
we love you, Hallie.
But Colt, love Hallie. But Colt made over $4 million. No, I think this is like if you were to try and play in the MidAm. I don't know. That's it's kind of an interesting question.
Well, there's two things about that. I wouldn't want to, first of all. So that would be my answer to that. I'm a bit torn between it, if I'm completely honest. Colt chose to play as a professional. He's had his opportunities, to get in Masters and all these big events. The MidAm is for a very highly skilled, highly dedicated golfer that either didn't quite make it into professional ranks or chose not to go into professional ranks and chose to, choose another direction in their careers. And I just think that it's a cooler story, from the dentist in Oklahoma that wins the MidAm and gets into the Masters than it is for somebody like a Colt Knost who has had many opportunities to try and get in the Masters and didn't quite get there. Is that right? Like he's never played a Masters, right?
No. Yeah, he never played.
But he's had many opportunities. And so I get why he wants to do it. Don't necessarily think it's wrong, but I think it's a better story that, like I said, like the Joe Blogs gets to qualify for the Masters and it literally is the coolest experience of his life.